Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We do have live tournament action coming at you. It is going to be ToxLonely and ChitaPrime battling it out here. It is going to be beginning on MLG Shakur's Plateau. It will be a best of 3. And Wendy on the line with me. Wendy, how are you doing, brother?
Doing great, man. Doing absolutely great. So happy to have the tournament going. Glad things are back online. All the little glitches are starting to work themselves out. And I'm so happy to see our very own little ToxLonely playing against the big, scary ChitaPrime. And you have said he's beaten him before, and I'd love to see him do it. Looks like ChitaPrime is going to go ahead and do the Forge Fast Expand on this map. Also common on Shakur's Plateau. Also, and such a good choice, too.
Oh, it really is. I mean, the ramp, it just gives you such an advantage here. You get a cannon down there or two, and you can call your front good for the first 5-6 minutes of the game, essentially. And at that point, it's up to the Zerg to either go for some sort of drop play, Nidus play, or to find a way to break down that base, or just keep you off of your third base for long enough that that you start to fall behind. But those are your main options. It's some combination of that makes the big play here for a Zerg on this particular map. And I do expect to see Tox try and pressure the expansion, at least here for ChitaPrime, while this is going down. And I think that's the right move here. What do you think about that, Wendy?
Yeah, it looks like he has gone ahead and I think 13 pooled, maybe 12 pool, maybe I think it was a 13 pool, which is a good decision. You see Idra sometimes do this against really greedy Protest players, and we know Cheetah's very, very greedy. He's probably, I think he's actually opting to go Nexus first here. Maybe not after seeing how early that pool was, but you'll see Idra sometimes do this against Protoss players. He'll go ahead and throw down an earlier pool, 12, 13 pool, and he's able to get 6 lings into the base if he times it right. Shakur's is not that big of a map with the rush distance, so he'll be able to get those 6 lings and cause all sorts of trouble, whether it's just harassing the probes, denying gas, denying pylons. All sorts of problems can erupt if the Protoss player decides to be too greedy, and it looks like he's not going...
He's going to go Forge first. I think that's based on his scouting intel at this point. I think you're exactly right. He saw their slightly earlier pool. Tox trying to mask it by keeping it relatively close, but in the end, Cheetah was able to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. So I have to say, what would the next course of action be here from Tox? It looks like there's a probe at the base of Cheetah's natural. It does start on the pylon block. There are lings out on the map, so I really don't like the idea of Protest pylon blocking. It's not going to delay the expansion that much longer, especially if lings are out. Lings will take it out very, very quickly. It really doesn't matter too much, although you do get a count on the lings, I guess, if the Zerg player decides to do that. So we'll see. Oh, it looks like he's trying to turn on a gateway for a second. Did you see that pop up?
Yeah, he did. He tried to put down a gateway. It would have been a nice pick there. He could have got the cancel on it. It would have stalled it just a moment or two longer, but Tox is going to be in just fine shape here. He's getting it down slightly after the 4-minute mark, obviously a little bit later than he would have hoped for, but all in all, that's not that late. And ChitaPrime does get a lot of things out first before he tossed down that Nexus. Now, his Nexus is on the way. It's about to be complete. He will be in phenomenal shape here economically moving forward, and grabbing his second gas here fairly early, which is interesting play to me. You tend to see a little bit less gas mining from your Protoss players until usually around the 5.5 to 6 minute mark is when they tend to start putting it down. So that could mean we're going to see some airplay out of ChitaPrime here. And I think on this particular map, it's a great idea. Notice he's putting down extra photon cannon, so I think a good possibility is air here.
Yeah, and more importantly, I think he's walled off entirely. I think it's a complete wall off. I'm not...
It is tight. You're correct. That is tight wall.
I don't know if that one little gap by the bottom pylon is airtight.
Oh, it is. That's tight. It doesn't quite look like it, but yeah, I think that is definitely tight there. And so I think there's a great chance that we're going to see airplay out of ChitaPrime here. Tox, in the meantime, he does have his hatchery gone down. It looks to be in pretty decent shape, about to complete, and he's going to start a little probe transfer or drone transfer there. Zergling speed is already complete, and he's going to be maintaining map control. This is a smart move from him, but checking in on the units tab, this is the telltale story here. ChitaPrime ahead in the worker count there, 34 to 28. So Tox needs to be careful now. He is grabbing his third, and that's going to help him remedy that in the future, but it is not the immediate fix to being behind in the economy. And if Cheetah plays his cards right here, that he could take advantage of that. So third photon cannon going down. I want to mention that. So it's looking more and more like airplay to me, and he still doesn't have his Stargate going down, but this is an extremely tight wall here.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what he's trying to go for. I mean, this is obviously not indicative of a very fast third or anything like that. Maybe he's trying to go for trying to max out on 2 bases or something like that. Honestly, I don't know. This kind of reeks of two-base timing push to me, considering the fact that he's really walled himself in, well,
Well, the
nothing.
problem is he doesn't even have a way to get a probe out at this point. So, great scout from Tox. He did cruise up the ramp there for a second with a Ling. Is now going to sack an Overlord here to figure out what's going on. Oh, and look at this. He is going to scout the Twilight Council. I wonder if Cheetah's going to cancel that or not here.
Yeah, if he even clicked on it, it's possible that he may have not clicked on it. So he's just that's the kind of thing about Protoss structures. You have to click on them if they're warping in, otherwise you're not going to be able to tell what it is. So I'm going to guess it's going to be Blink, considering the fact of that he's getting a Twilight Council, 3 gates.
Yeah, and walled off so tight, but he still has 4 gas, and that seems like a lot of gas if you're going to just go for Blink, but I don't know, man. Another gateway going down. Yeah, I guess you're probably going to have to be right there. But this is definitely an interesting build order from Cheetah, considering now he's trying to get good vision in his base. That's a smart play. Tox definitely has got the possibility of going for some Nidus play in this particular position because Cheetah is dedicated so much to defense of his natural here and very, very little to the defense of his main at this point. And he's going to have to rely on his army to get in position there. And quite frankly, he's blocked himself off enough where that's a difficult deal in and of itself. But a pylon here will be taken out. It looks like Cheetah going to go for some aggression here, and I think that's a pretty smart
it'll
play.
do power one gateway as well as the Robo, which will continue to warp in, but still, it's interesting. Maybe he's going to try and take a quick third, considering he only has 3 gates, a Robo, and a Twilight Council with Blink on the way. Yeah, so yeah, he will go ahead and take a third. This Overseer, it's possible, may see it if he pulls back. Kills off the scout in the third. And looking at the worker count, it's 51 to 57 workers. Zerg doing the smart thing, not droning too heavily, because these are the timing windows that Protoss tend to come out with heavy aggression. And Cheetah isn't, so as long as Tox scouts that, he should be okay.
Yeah, and he's building up a decent amount of roaches here. And roaches are a nice play versus this gateway. Obviously, Cheetah's going to rely on his force fielding to make this, turn into his favor. But Tox is getting a good bunch of roaches out, and I love the engaged positioning that he's choosing for himself right here, right now. He's like, I want to engage out here in the open. I hope he's not going to back up this ramp here. That would, it's less effective. It's better to engage in the open where the force fields become a little bit less useful.
His creep spread's kind of hurting, though. I'm kind of surprised by that. His injects are doing all right, but his creep spread's definitely hurting. I think that might come back to haunt him. Yeah, he has a creep tumor in his main that he could definitely start spreading out. When you have bases spread out like this, you definitely need the creep tumors connecting your base. When Protoss isn't taking much map presence, go crazy with the creep. It gives you vision, it gives you the speed bonus, it gives you the health recovery bonus. Yep. And I want to talk about a little bit about the Protoss timings, how they work. I don't know if you watched if you keep up with what Blizzard posts to their Facebook and stuff like that. They posted today on a balance in the fact of Forge Fast Expand so difficult for Zerg players to deal with. And in truth, it's really not. You kind of have to look for 3 things when Protoss Forge Fast Expand. Stargate or Gateway tech, which way are they going, right? Mm-hmm. How many of those gateways do they have at about the 8-minute, 9-minute mark? Do they have 3 or do they have 6 or 7? If they have 6 or 7, it's going to be an attack. 3, it might just be pressure and a third follow-up.
Right.
Third, when does that third go down? Does that third go down around the 10-minute mark? Okay, then that's a really quick third, and that means that he's going for a really macro-heavy play. He's going to try to macro up on 3 bases. So then you have to really consider, and this is what ToxLonely has identified, this is a great engagement for him. If he can get a good surround on these units, he has a pretty decent arc on them, but force them force fields, and it's pretty smart. With Lings in the mix here, I think he could definitely take out Cheetah's army, and that would be huge. That means he could just be able to steamroll over right into the... Well, there's a lot of cannons at the third.
Yeah, there are a lot of cannons. Yeah, not too bad of an engagement. Tox losing a couple
of shooters
there. But the vision out there for ChitaPrime making the difference, and Tox going to have to back out here. He's going to take some serious losses too, and the blink forward even more so on the loss side for Tox here. It was a tough engagement for him. Lucky for him, he is macroing hard to the core. He's going to have a pretty decent defensive force out here in just a moment, and he has baited a lot of the force fields at this point. So force fielding here aggressively for Cheetah is going to become more and more difficult. Now Tox
and that aggressive blink really came back to haunt him. He's going to be able, these proxy pylons are going to go down, or actually not even be canceled. They're just going to get picked off, and that one does get canceled. And really smart play from Tox there. He got out enough units in time to deal with it. He baited all those blinks, all those force fields. That's kind of what you have to do with Protoss. When they have sentries that have been sitting around, you need to bait out those force fields. You need to gauge in the midfield. Even with its 12 lings, if you can get enough to bait out 2 or 3, 4 force fields with lings or even just roaches, good idea. I love going with 12 to 20 lings and like 20 roaches and maybe a few infestors. Like pretty much the unit composition Tox has here, baiting force fields in the midfield or near Protost's base, and just backing up and letting Protoss attack into me. And by the time Protoss gets to my base, he doesn't have any force fields. So my aggression, just the sheer number of units I'm able to rally forth, will overwhelm him and just win the battle, maybe the game outright right there.
Yeah, it's so true. Now notice that Cheetah is grabbing his 4th base here, though, in very, very good time. This is where Tox has got to be careful, I think, in this particular game. Cheetah is just going to out-macro him here. He's already, I mean, pretty significant lead there, 16 harvesters above. It does make a big difference. Now, but I do like that Tox did go for his Hive Tech here. If he does spring on his opponent some early enough Broodlords, that could be a game-ending type of deal, and I would love to see it. I would absolutely love to see that. But ChitaPrime in such phenomenal shape at this point.
Yeah, warping at more sentries. I really don't. I like that decision. I definitely think Zealots or Stalkers would have been a better choice. He has enough sentries, and the sentries aren't going to have enough energy to really make much of a difference. He has 11 sentries, and that's a lot of gas wasted into units that really aren't that powerful.
Right.
I love Tox's arc here. I love that he's starting to arc up over here and take advantage of this position that he has, because Protoss has to engage into this, and it's really beneficial for Zerg to be in arc, and especially with roaches who don't have much that long of a range.
Yeah. Yeah, great spread. He
So
does have
look
a
how many
lot
sentries
of...
he has.
He does
18
have
sentries.
Oh, I know, it's too many. And the force fields here are going to be phenomenal. Great baiting, though, there from Tox. Every little bit is going to count here. He does have a couple of these infestors out on the field. I'm liking that. His Spire is about to complete, and at this point, Tox has just got to be thinking, how do I buy time to get out my greater Spire at this point? He is going to do some nice fungling here, but a lot of... Oh, so many force fields going down. Cheetah's got to be careful. He doesn't want to waste these force fields.
Yeah, and he has +3 attack. Wow, I didn't even notice he got +3. Tons of infested Terrans going down. This is the kind of the problem with the composition that Tox had. If he had Hydras in there, I think this would have gone a little bit better. If he had like more Hydras than Roaches, he would have been able to do a lot of damage. But you can see this Death Ball of Protoss is just barreling down the front.
Absolutely.
And free base Protoss, man, so tough to deal with. So tough to deal with it if you don't identify it in the early. Somewhere nice one was going down over in the third.
Nice. Yeah, this is smart play. I mean, he's got to try and draw Cheetah back if possible. I don't think Cheetah's going to back out with this army. He is going to come up here and deny this at least one of these bases before he chooses to back out. And Tox is going to do some damage here, but he's going to start losing these bases and all of his drones. And at this point, his drones are the key to keeping alive. If he loses too many drones, he's going to find himself in dire straits here moving forward. And Cheetah instantly taking another base in a forward position of all places here is kind of funny. But it looks like Tox going to try and cruise in and deny this third now of Cheetah, while he's letting a couple units here try and clean up this fourth.
Yeah, and Cheetah with an aggressive blink into the natural.
Yeah, he's going for the kill
only.
Going for the kill. Cheetah is maxed out right now. He's got no reason to not try and take this game down right here right now. Does snipe this base, and I think this is going to end up with a GG.
Yeah, Tox has only so many units. He went for the base trade scenario. Not a bad decision, but there's so many cannons at the third of Cheetah, and he's so well fortified in the main. It's really tough to break in. Had he gotten maybe the Nidoswarm into the main of Cheetah, and GG, well played coming out of Tox, and there you go. Whew.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We do have live tournament action continuing here on MLG's Metalopolis. Game 2 here between Cheetah and ToxLonely. Wendy still joining me. Super pleased about that. It is going to be close positions by air here, Wendy. How's that make you feel?
Metalopolis, totally Zerg favored. Great for Mutalisk play if he can get them up. But, I mean, we saw ChitaPrime go against... I believe it was ChitaPrime? No, it was ToxLonely's first opponent go Forge Fast Expand on this map. So if Cheetah, the greedy player that he's definitely shown to be, if he were to go Forge Fast Expand on this map, we'll see how Tox responds to it, and it could go in a number of different ways. And he's sending his probe to low ground. It will be a Forge Fast Expand. Wow, that is. At Metalopolis, I tell you, it is one of the hardest things to do. And if I ever see a Protoss on the ladder Forge Fast Expand against me, it is instant roachling all in off of one base. I have yet to lose with it. Even if the Protoss were to cannon up a crazy amount, I would just be able to plow through it, because that low ground, it's so wide open. It's so easy to get lings and roaches and all sorts of little crooks to get in, little crooks and nannies to get in there and just kind of wheel yourself into the main and kill off the main nexus, and it's just a pain in the butt to deal with for Protoss.
Right. Well, I've seen Cheetah do this before. It's such an interesting play, and sometimes he's doing it on purpose to bait aggression. Cheetah tends to be extremely good with his micro. Is one of those players, one of the few players that can rely on his micro to pull him through situations. And he's got that forge going down. It's wide open here, though. It's kind of an interesting position. Notice that he didn't even get it close to the ramp there quite yet.
Interesting.
But that means he's probably going to go for some cannoning here. And, oh, he is. Look at this. And it's going to put him in range of the mineral line, too, of the main mineral line. That's another great thing about this map. So this isn't necessarily a forge fast expand as much as it is a cannon rush here, is really what he's doing.
Yeah, and you should see all this. Yeah, but all this work is being pulled. It's gonna be hard to deal with.
No, look how he's got his probe here. He's completely safe back here.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be hard to deal with for the workers.
Oh yeah, and Cheetah will have vision of the high ground here. Notice he's gonna.
Smart decision from Tox to put the spine crawler there, though. I do like that decision. Good on the fly thinking. Will he wall in these workers? Is that what he's trying to do? I think he is.
I think he is going to wall them in. Yeah, this is a tough move here. It's really going to cost Tox dearly, dearly, dearly. He's got that last photon cannon going down on the low ground. Tox having to pull so many units to try and deal with this, and too many pylons here to deal with. And I think we're going to see a GG here in just a moment.
Yeah, this might be a quick game out of Tox. I definitely, in this position, would have just canceled my hatch, let my spine crawler finish, and take my third, my natural over at my third. But you can see he's put pretty much all the workers off the line. Yeah, and
now the spine crawler is dead. He's got too much vision of the high ground here, one of which is a photon cannon. It's going to be completely in range of that mineral line here, and Tox is going to find himself completely stuck here at this point.
Yeah, but he's going to find himself almost supply box. 6 lanes coming out. It's not going to be enough. There's so many cannons out in the field, and no GG.
Too bad. Too very bad. It is a great play.
I have to empathize with them. That is really tough.
It is.
So,
yeah, catch you guys in just a minute.